After a tense exchange of blows, the group managed to bring down their target by striking her directly in the heart. Without wasting time, one of the women activates a teleportation device, vanishing from the scene with the older man and the second woman. The remaining man, now alone, opens a digital panel to check his emails and logs off. That man is Nash, or rather Nash's digital persona, inside a virtual reality game. Back in the physical world, Nash removes his headset. The year is 2047, a time of immense technological change. The futuristic dreams people once had, like flying vehicles and space exploration, have partly come true. However, the biggest transformation is how humans now interact with reality. More than 3/4 of the population, called the connected, live most of their lives in immersive online simulations called verses. These digital worlds have grown so sophisticated and lifelike that it's becoming increasingly difficult to tell what's real and what isn't.
Society has changed. They now spend all of their time online, just not the way people thought it would.
Nash drives through the rain-soaked city sky to Centurnus Corporation, one of the most powerful companies managing virtual experiences. Inside the building, he meets with Dina, one of the organization's top operatives. She informs him of a tragedy. 148 players had been killed by a computer sickness. A bad group called the Necromancers had caused this attack. So Dinah wanted Nash to find out who these Necromancers were. It was true that the attacks and the number of dead people were getting much worse, but calling the police, called Interpol, was not a good idea. Interpol's computer systems were always getting hacked. If Interpol got involved, Centurnus wouldn't be able to go after the Necromancers directly.
I think your wages show the recognition we have of your talent.
Okay, what's the address?
Find who the Necromancers are and eliminate them.
I'll try not to disappoint them.
The place was an old, empty building. Nash didn't find anything inside except trash until he heard a sound. He held his gun ready and followed the noise. Suddenly, a big man with no hair jumped on him, and they started to fight with their fists. After many punches, kicks, and being thrown against a wall, the bald man was stronger than Nash. The man knocked Nash to the floor, took his ID card, and then left quickly.
That was fun.
Nash's next stop was a rough part of town. Real people were on the streets there, offering many kinds of illegal services. In this area, Nash went to see his friend and former brother-in-law, Morel. Morel was a very skilled computer hacker. After Morel fixed Nash's injuries and stitched him up, Nash asked him to break into Interpol's computers.
I never said I couldn't do it. I just said it was risky. What I want, money can't buy, or not that easy.
He's a big, bald, ugly son of a bitch. You can't miss him.
It's only because of what happened to Helena.
Every single time I come over here, you mention her name.
Nash left feeling angry when Morel suddenly talked about Helena. This made their talk uncomfortable, even though Nash knew Morel was right to think that something was strange about Helena's death. Nash was spending his evening with Dalwin in the game when his game time was suddenly stopped by the sound of his doorbell in the real world. It was Morel, bringing him news about the security camera videos. Sadly, no big bald man had walked in front of the camera.
I found a guy who appeared several times during the last 3 days before your arrival. It's all here.
Did you receive your hardware list that you wanted?
The next morning, Nash returns to Centurnus and gives Dina the flash drive. Dina used her company's special computer program to find out who the mystery man was. His name was Leonard Lorenz, and they also had his home address. Before Nash leaves to confront him, he requests another firearm. Dina tells him to pick one up from the warehouse, noting the cost will be taken from his future earnings. Shortly, Nash went to visit him. He sneaks into the apartment by climbing through the window. Inside, Leonard is seated motionlessly in his gaming chair, fully immersed in a verse. But Nash isn't alone. The same bald man also there, ready to start another fistfight. After barricading the entrance with a chair, Nash approaches Leonard and shoots him in the head. Although Leonard is defenseless, Nash justifies the act. Leonard's virus was responsible for the deaths of 148 innocent players. Because Leonard's consciousness is still inside the verse, Nash took control of Leonard's game character. He wanted to work secretly and find more information about the Necromancers. The game character turned out to be a blonde woman who was in the middle of a fun time in bed with 2 other girls. Nash didn't pay attention to this. He quickly dressed the character, took a weapon he found in the room, and left.
Already finished.
I can't focus.
We need to go to the surface.
While walking through an old empty building, John's special viewing device, binoculars, stopped working. This proved that a device was blocking signals, which meant an ambush was waiting for them.
Do we even have time for that kind of shit?
After taking the huge boss's bullets, John and Nash run away. They eventually arrive at a sleek, digital office where Nash meets Camille, the leader of the Necromancers. She shares the group's mission. They want to shock players enough that they log off and return to real life. Unfortunately, their efforts aren't working. People assume the missing or dead gamers are simply active on different verses. When Nash asks what their next move is, Camille doesn't say what the new plan is and remains silent. This was because, at that moment, the helper brought the beacon that was asked for. This device stopped Nash from being able to log out of the game.
I'm guessing Leonard is dead, right? Who are you? That your body is still there, and we're merely going to recover it. You can't look out.
What are you going to do to me?
Always giving their opinion. The virtual worlds solve that. But what you do, from a moral perspective, this is a crime.
During a brief moment of distraction, Nash grabs a flash grenade pin from one of the guards and uses it to destroy the signal blocking device. Everyone blew up except for Camille, who was able to use his table as a shield. Nash disconnects just in time, moments before Camille's men burst into the apartment.
Who is it?
Open up, asshole. And find out who's been logging in or out the last few hours.
Their search was stopped when 3 men from Interpol arrived. Nash quickly hid while the leader of the Interpol group, Stilson, questioned his friend. At first, Morel didn't want to talk, but one of them punches him, trying to force a confession. Morel then fabricates a more convincing story. He claims he saw an internal memo from Vesglass Corporation about the virus and thought he could profit by uncovering additional information. He denies being hired by corporations, but explains that companies often contact him to test their digital defenses. If he finds vulnerabilities and offers solutions, they pay him in digital credits. The lead agent seems satisfied with this explanation and even asks if Interpol can use Morel's skills in the future. Morel agrees and tells them that he found nothing suspicious in the surveillance footage. With that, the agents leave.
They're gone! You're taking the risk of ending up between Interpol, the corporations, and the terrorists.
I should have made that son of a bitch talk more.
Made him.
Thinking the Necromancers still didn't know who he really was, Nash went back to his apartment. He went online to have one last adventure with his game group and enjoy some nice moments with Dalwyn.
Don't worry, I'm good.
His peace is interrupted by an email from Dina. He logs out again and heads back to Cinturnus. Dina told him that Interpol had been to the company building because they knew about the deaths. In return, Nash told her what he had found out because of Morel's secret looking around. The attacks had only happened against the 3 biggest online verse companies. But other than that, it seemed like they couldn't find any more clues about the Necromancers. It had been impossible to find the Necromancers because there were no signs of them connecting or disconnecting from the system. They always left a few helpers online to protect the area from other players. They would then log in or out from a different place.
And they just log in or log out from elsewhere.
We are allies, but we are not friends.
Don't fool yourself. If the politicians want to keep things the way they are,
Go in there and find out what you can before them.
After leaving Cinturnus, Nash goes back to Morel, this time asking him to dig into what Interpol knows about the cyber attacks. Morel agrees to continue helping. Nash returns to his apartment, feeling the weight of what's ahead. This time he meets Camille, the true leader of the Necromancers, who was actually a woman in real life.
How'd you find me?
We know you're working for them.
What are you talking about? You're the ones who killed her.
Is that we didn't kill Helena.
Helena was actually close to the Necromancers, even if she didn't always agree with their ways. She was still a part of their group, and that made her a target for Cinturnus. Because Nash had always thought something was wrong with Helena's death, he believed Camille's story. He agreed to help them. He told them everything he knew and started to make a plan to deal with Interpol.
I had a friend tap into Interpol's files. Know your plan to kill more people?
No.
It's freedom you're offering. But I will help you.
Meanwhile, elsewhere, the Interpol agent and his men are trailing a necromancer near a bridge. They lose sight of him, but discover that the necromancers are using a secret entrance through a manhole to move unnoticed. Agent Stillson tells his team to check satellite footage for more clues. At the same time, it's revealed that the person who climbed into the manhole earlier was actually Nash. Nash returns underground to meet with Camille again in their hidden base.
Would you be willing to check with your friend if Interpol has anything else on us?
Later, Nash speaks privately with Morell and admits that he's now involved with both Sin-Turnus and the necromancers. Morell is alarmed, warning Nash of the danger, but Nash brushes it off and asks for updates on Interpol's activities. Morell says Interpol has an informant inside the necromancer group. They're planning to meet this informant at an old City Hall building within the hour. Nash decides to go and check it out. After going to the meeting base and carefully checking for any threats, Nash was suddenly captured by Interpol.
You can put those hands down now.
Have we met?
No, we haven't. You are just one among others. Why help a terrorist to escape?
Stillson knew Nash was working for both Sin-Turnus and the necromancers. Rather than arresting him, the agent makes Nash a new offer. Continue working for Sin-Turnus, but secretly feed Interpol all the intel Sin-Turnus gathers. Nash would need to check with Interpol before taking any major actions in the field. But before Nash can respond to this request, a group of necromancers suddenly ambushes the scene.
Okay, I'll see what I can get. How did you know? Well, thanks to you, I think I'm off the radar again.
They all head to Nash's place to finalize their plan. Their strategy involves using a virus created by one of Camille's hackers. The virus is designed to slowly shut down all connected consoles until the entire virtual world, known as the Verses, ceases to exist. This would push people offline and back into the real world, effectively freeing the connected population. But for the virus to spread, it must be released from inside one of the major Verses, specifically within Sin-Turnus' own systems.
Take this device with you. From there, our hackers will blow the protections. Tomorrow, the world will be very different.
After Camille and her team leave to prepare, Nash is left alone to wrestle with his conscience. He's torn. The group talks about freeing people, but is it really freedom if it's forced on them? Nash wonders if true freedom can ever be something people are pushed into. And even if it could, should it be? Since there were a few hours left before they started the mission, Nash went online and met with Dalwin.
You released him elsewhere.
No.
I'm well with you.
Still filled with doubt, Nash decides to follow through. He goes to Sin-Turnus headquarters with the device. Moments later, he sits with Dina, and while talking to her, he secretly turns on the device with the computer sickness. The necromancer's skilled hackers immediately started working on spreading their attack. Meanwhile, Nash went back home and logged online again for one last adventure with his game group. But they were stopped by new messages from Morell.
What the hell?
They want to shut everything down?
They're calling everyone in Neo-Paris to intervene.
A very angry crowd of connected people who were forced out of their games against their will reach the necromancer's hiding place. They show up armed and angry, banging on the door, demanding answers. Camille and her team didn't expect such backlash. They assumed the connected would welcome the idea of being freed. They expected a revolution, not rage. Later, Nash visits Sin-Turnus and speaks with Dina. She tells him that his services are no longer needed. The company already located the necromancers and uncovered who was left.
All this is to say that your mission is over. This case is closed. Yes, we created the virus, but
I don't know who to believe.
I told you the truth, Nash.
After everything he's been told, Nash still doesn't know who to trust. Did Sin-Turnus lie to him? Were the necromancers telling the truth? These questions haunt him. He says goodbye to Dina and walks away with more confusion than ever. Unable to find peace, Nash drifts back into the virtual world. He chose to live the rest of his life with Dalwin and their game group, being connected permanently and no longer a hybrid. Because of the money he had earned, he could add many extra things and comforts to his online character. This made his online experience even more enjoyable. And since his brain couldn't tell the difference between what was real and what was online, his life in the game felt just as good as real life.